Thanks so much, Sue, for opening your garden gate. And coming up next, we're going to be learning about Reed's Nursery in Maxwell, Texas, and a whole lot of cool plants new to Central Texas Gardener. I'm joined by Bill and Christine Reed, and welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Maxwell, a small town east of San Marcos, and you've both got the nursery bug and the plant bug, I can tell. But tell me how you got into the business, Bill.
Well, we've always had a passion for gardening, and when the kids got to the age where we didn't have to care for them so much anymore, we decided to strike out. Chris is a master gardener and down in Hays County, and this is a dream of our lifetime.
That's great. So many of the mom and pop nurseries are genuinely that. They're the passions of individuals out there who are gardeners.
Absolutely.
And that's why I always encourage people to go and visit those nurseries, because you'll be talking to people who've been there and done that.
Yeah, we love it. We love it.
That's great. Well, let's dive in and talk about the array of plants that you brought, which I'm assuming would be typical for the kinds of things that you offer in this shop.
We try to get the different things that you don't see in the big box stores and things that we love, that we really appreciate. We try to, again, get things that are different, and we try to get things that are more low water, because most of us are worried about that.
Oh yeah, we should be.
And a lot of things, the things that can take the heat. You know.
And I also hear that you have an organic emphasis as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
We compost everything that we don't sell. We have a rainwater collection system.
Awesome.
We're very aware of our footprint on the earth, and we're trying to share that with our customers.
That's wonderful. Well, let's again dive in and talk about the plants. One we have here is a plant that I absolutely love, and I've never seen it on the show, I don't think. This is Jerusalem thorn.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, also called Retama and palo verde. It's a great Mexican native. It's wonderful. It handles the heat, very low water use once it's established. Has those beautiful flowers, orange and yellow. Very unusual branching. It's really more of an understory tree, though. In other words, it's not a real tall tree, 15 to 20 feet at the most.
I would say full sun. That's
where
absolutely. It's happiest.
It can take it, yeah.
It doesn't matter how dry the conditions are. You see it often in disturbed sites, so you know it's growing.
It does really well in this heat, and it's very different.
I love the yellow flowers on this. Really bright show. A fairly long-lasting show for a spring blooming tree as well.
Yeah, I would say summer to fall, or spring to summer. In other words, it can be quite a stretch, and very striking. Really pretty. And
terrific plant, and one, again, that people should be on the lookout for. A smallish tree, and if you're looking for something that will survive out there at the corner without having to be on the water line, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to have a tree that can handle the low water.
Well, let's keep moving. The next plant we want to talk about is Snapdragon vine, and this is one, again, I've never gardened with. I love the flower form on it. I can understand why they call it Snapdragon vine. Tell me a little bit more about this one, Christine.
It's also known as roving sailor. Probably has a few other names. Obviously, it will travel. It's a vine. It loves to grow. You can hang it like on your porch outside in a hanging basket. It's really pretty. And it doesn't mind getting a haircut. It does really well if you trim it. It seems to, just makes it grow more. It will reseed, but it's not invasive. It's not a pest.
Yeah, Bill, I understand some of this is growing on your roadside down there.
We actually have it in the greenhouse growing out of pure road base, and it's extremely happy. Very hardy.
So it'll take the water, but it can handle, drought conditions too. So that's kind of nice.
Well, great hanging basket plant.
Really sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds terrific. And I'm assuming you said it recedes, so it goes down in the wintertime.
Well, I think it depends on the environment. If it was in a sheltered spot, it might be all right. It depends on the winter, of course.
Yeah.
But regardless, it'll throw off seed, and it takes the cuttings are pretty fast too, so it propagates pretty easily. So.
Good.
But it's a nice one.
Well, since you've come into the studio here, I've been smelling the plant next to me, and it is making me very hungry for almond pastry.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
This is called almond verbena, and the fragrance is nothing short of intense.
And that is a small flower. I mean,
yeah, this is just a single bloom, really.
It can get quite about 10 feet by 10 feet, and it's really wonderful when it gets that big.
Yeah,
so
in
it
a
is
garden
fantastic.
setting, I can imagine on a nice day.
Oh, it wafts through the air. It's so wonderful, and the butterflies love it. And the deer don't like it, which is a big plus. And another plant that really can handle less water, which is nice, and it can handle our heat. So it's a plus, you know.
More could
Can't
you
lose.
ask for?
Yeah.
And when you see a flower shaped like this, it almost always means butterfly attractor.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
that is
again,
fun to watch that. They just go all over it, and different kinds too. You know, many different kinds.
So you say it forms a large shrub.
Yes.
And then, and I'm assuming it's perennial, goes back to the
Yes.
ground.
Now it will, being small, it might die back, but it'll come back. But of course, the bigger and more established it is, it's deciduous, but it's going to come right back. It does great. It can
Okay.
handle the weather here.
Well, I think you're going to have a flood of people interested
Yeah,
in
it's a lovely
almond
one.
verbena.
Yes.
It's a great plant.
It is.
Right next to it, we have a plant that looks a lot like Johnson grass at
I know,
first.
I know.
But this is called Job's Tears. And
has a few other names, too.
Okay, well they all do have common names.
Yes.
But now tell me why Job's Tears.
It's supposed to, I guess, relate back to Job in the Bible and his woe, you know, the sad stories he dealt with. And the little seeds that form on the plant look like little teardrops.
Okay.
So those are representative of his tears.
I'm going to hold some of these out so people can see them.
Been used in other countries for many years to make rosaries and bracelets. It can also be used as a food source. You can grind them up and make a high-protein flour. So it's
a
been
true
used.
grass with a
Absolutely.
large ornamental seed.
Right. It's really fun. But what's really cute is the seed pod, the bead, has a perfect hole inside. You do not have to make a hole or drill a hole. It has a perfect hole already made. Nature gave it to you.
Okay,
It's a
so you can
perfect bead.
sew through it
Yeah.
and create a string just
Absolutely.
like we have here.
Yeah, so it's really fun.
That is cool. Now, we've talked about Malabar spinach before on the program, but frankly, I have forgotten all about this plant, and I just think it's the most striking looking thing.
It's beautiful.
Tell me a little bit more about this plant. I'm assuming it's Malabar spinach. It sounds edible.
Yes,
It is.
It isn't really a spinach, but it is definitely a edible. It's quite high in nutrients. Usually people like to use the more tender, newer leaves.
Right.
You can put it in stir fry. You can put it in your salad. And besides that, it's a beautiful vine, and it'll grow, grow, grow. It's not frost hardy, but that's okay because it produces plenty of seed, and it may give you some more the next season. So if it does bother you, if it pops up in other places and you're not happy about it, you can always chop it down.
Okay, well, I'm going to skip around a little bit here
Okay.
because we're running out of time, and we have a couple plants here that we've never talked about, so I want to get to these. Right next to Bill, there is I've heard it called black-eyed Susan vine, is one common name for it. It's a Thunbergia, botanical name. Love the color on this one. Tell me a little bit about the cultivation of this plant.
Well, it's also a great hanging basket item. To us, it's done beautifully now, but then it'll go kind of dormant in the summer heat. But boy, in the fall, it will just push out beautiful cascades of blooms. It's just stunning, and just beautiful, long, long blooms. Very nice plant.
Okay. Well, it looks like a great hanging basket candidate.
Absolutely.
You could put it in a big container at the base of larger plants, let it
Yes.
cascade down the side.
You can also put it on the fence and have it climb the fence.
Oh, really?
And sometimes it'll make it through the winter. If not, it may die back and come back. But it just really depends on the environment. But
That's terrific.
It's a
So
great
it's actually a
fence.
twining vine as
Yes,
well.
yes,
Perfect.
it does great on the fence.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like a real winner there. Now, right behind it there, or close to it, we have a plant that I know nothing about. This is anise hyssop. Now, anise makes me think that if I go over there and take one of those leaves, I'm going to smell licorice.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about this hyssop. This is, again, a new plant
That's
for us
nice.
here.
I didn't know. I loved it because it's a great pollinator plant. When the flowers form, the pollinators love it. It's a great herb. You can take the leaves and make great teas out of it. Being an herb, the deer don't like it,
Right.
which is very nice.
Blooms, I take it.
Yes, beautiful purple blooms. And ours in the front area of the nursery in the garden. It went through the summer. It went through that cold snap. Just kept going. It was mulch, but
right.
it handled it. It was really, really tough.
Well,
so it's a great perennial.
Looks like a salvia. When I first saw it, I assumed it was a form of salvia.
But it smells much better.
It's well, I love the smell of licorice. So one of my favorite is a Mexican marigold mint. So
right, it's very similar.
We have that as well.
Yeah. That's a very nice fragrance.
Okay, so anise hyssop. Love that. Okay, and right behind it, Mexican flame vine. One of the coolest colors, I think, of any flower out there. I love the glow on this.
It's a beautiful, beautiful summer vining plant with those gorgeous colors, and takes the heat.
Butterfly plant.
Yeah. It smells like honey to me. The fragrance is wonderful.
Well, and this is one that does well, in hot shaded or a hot patio. I've used them in containers before. How about planting these in the ground? What kind of situation do they like?
Well, it's going to die back, but it'll come back usually. Again, it depends on the winter.
Sure.
This last winter was very challenging for a lot of things, but it really does like to be trimmed. It's not an aggressive vine, so that's nice. It's a very nice one. It's very compact.
Okay. Well, Mexican flame vine is the name of that. And real quickly, the nursery is Reed's Nursery in Maxwell, Texas. Real brief description of how you get there.
Well, the quickest way would be to take 150 off of I-35, go north on 21. There's a Bonton Meat Market out there on 21. Take a right-hand turn, down 2 miles, and there we are.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on Central Texas Gardener. We'll have to have you back. Good luck to you down there in Maxwell, Texas at Reed's Nursery.
Thank you.
Okay, coming up next, it's Daphne with Down to Earth.